Hello and welcome to the Real Estate Show and welcome to Rogue Valley Community Television. I'm Pete Belcastro, this is Joe Brett, and of course this is the May edition of the Real Estate Show.
We're coming to you live here from the Digital Media Center on May 10th, but this program is going to repeat throughout the month of May and into June, and we've got some great information for you on a very tight real estate market that continues to make some big moves.
Well, we're both real estate brokers with John L. Scott, and we get together with you once a month here on RVTV. Our show tonight, well, we got another good one. We're in almost the third month of the three busiest real estate months of the year, which is March, April, and May. We'll check on stats, see what's going on. We have a great group of panelists and guests lined up for that, right?
We had some pretty busy months before these 3 months. I think it's going to stay busy after these 3 months as well. We may have kind of a banner year underway.
Maybe March, April, May may not be the three busiest months of this year, particular thing.
Yeah.
In our second segment tonight, you've heard the words Earth Advantage, but really, what does an Earth Advantage home or building really mean? And I have to say, I don't know. But I'm going to find out tonight.
I've heard the term, but I'm interested to learn more because there's a lot of ways you can save in your utility bills and do some great things for the comfort in your own home and be energy efficient. John
Spillman from the Earth Advantage, that's a Portland-based nonprofit, will be here from the Rogue Valley Association of Realtors in segment 2. All that is coming up next here on RVTV. The Real Estate Show starts next.
And welcome back, everyone, to the May edition of the Real Estate Show. I'm Joe Brett. I'm your host here for the Market Watch segment here in segment 1. And we've got a great panel lined up, as we always do. Let's get right to work, and I'll introduce them to you. First off, to my left is Trevor Bushey from our John L. Scott Ashland, our Medford office, I should say.
Yeah.
Welcome, Trevor.
Thank you.
Trevor and his wife, Gina, for those of you scoring at home, were on our radio show recently on KMED. Had a great conversation with you there, and looking forward to following up with that tonight, Trevor.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. We enjoyed it, and we're glad to be here.
It's a red-hot market and lots to talk about there. We won't run out of things to talk about in a half hour.
The market is extremely hot. The biggest thing that's making it hot is the lack of inventory.
Yeah, and it continues to outpace the sales, outpacing the listings a little bit, and keeping things pretty tight.
It is very tight. As a rule of thumb, when you have more than 6 months supply of inventory, it's going to be buyer's market. When you have less than 6 months, it's going to be a seller's market. So we're in the midst of a very strong seller's market.
Strong seller's market. Great to have you aboard, Trevor. Look forward to hearing more from you. Brad Bennington.
Howdy.
CEO of the Homebuilders Association. You've got about 6 other titles that we plug in there along the way. Good to have you back.
Wahoo, yeah, good to be here, Joe.
Yep.
You betcha.
Yep, but we swinging hammers. The saws are tearing up, and homes are going up all over the valley.
I get 3 kinds of calls every day. Call number 1 is from the public. Who can I get to do my job? Call number 2 is from the contractors saying, hey, we need framers, we need concrete guys, we need this, we need that. And then the third kind of calls I get are those panic calls where I don't know what to do with this Building code, help. So yeah, we're busy.
Yeah, it's keeping that beats the alternative though.
Yes, it does.
For a while there, we weren't busy building new homes, and our economy and our valley suffered for it, and we're just catching up on all of that.
Yeah.
So we'll look forward. And we got some breaking news too. We're going to talk about with you tonight.
Yeah.
We'll get to that in just a moment. Guy Giles from Bank 34 Mortgage. How are you? Welcome
ready.
back. Good to have you back.
Thank you.
What have you been up to since our last get together last month, other than just probably pounding that keyboard as fast as you can?
Oh man, yeah, it's busy. I got a new assistant coming on, so hopefully I'll get a little bit of a break. But we're doing a ton of loans, and it's still people moving in from out of town, but it's also a lot of people. We had 2 of them today that called that want to list their house and then buy something, move up a little bit. So it's a little mix of everything, but we're still doing a lot of veterans loans. That's kind of my favorite, thing to do. But we're good at all of them. So
yeah, no, you do them all, and it's interesting to hear that we've got local activity as well. I think we sometimes take for granted when the market heats up that it's all coming from outside the area, and there are a lot of opportunities now with the way people's equities come back into their homes. They're able to make some plays.
I think they're feeling pretty good about it finally. So we're ready for them though.
Yeah. Cool. Market Watch segment coming up, but before we get into our monthly analysis of the statistics that we like to share with you folks, Brad brought an article to our attention, came from the National Association of Home Builders website, and it kind of caught our attention insofar as the cost of new homes is rising pretty dramatically. Not all of that is fueled by industry materials or lot prices or things like that. We've got some other things that are kind of pushing the market a little bit, and tell us about that.
Yeah. Well, people that listen to your radio show and people that watch this show know that you talk a lot about, some of the drivers that are behind the number, right? At the end of the day, you got a number, but, what are all the pieces that add up? And, so many people don't understand that from the developer and the general contractor point of view, yeah, it's really a balancing act. I mean, we're not driving around big expensive vehicles wondering where we're going to buy our next latte. I mean, we're home at night adding up the pennies and making sure that we can pay all of our bills. And what we see here is, it's really quite a startling number if you haven't seen it before. But this is a very detailed study measuring all the metrics that go into the cost of a new house. $84,671 on average. On average is what home buyers are paying for the regulatory overburden. That's not the bricks and the sticks, that's not the dirt, that's not the concrete. This is the cost of all the government paperwork that adds to the home that they're buying. Isn't that amazing?
Yeah, to see it go up that far from 2011, I mean, our market has just started to kind of rebound, and it seems like it's outpacing the ability of the market to rebound. What are some of these regulations? What are some of these driving cost factors? Well,
fortunately, there's a link to this that can show you all the different metrics that they measure. Some of them are pre-actual construction, so they're for instance, one of the biggest drivers we have today, and it's a real moving target, is the EPA. And the EPA, I mean, literally in the last 24 months, they have promulgated 20,000 new rules. 20,000 new rules in the last 24 months, all of which have to be complied with when you're developing land. Whether it's wetlands related, whether it's protected species related, there's just, it's amazing. So some of the impacts are pre-construction, some of them are post-construction. For instance, system development fees, building inspections, site reporting requirements. I mean, if you look at it, if you look at what builders have to comply with, at the end of the day, you'd kind of scratch your head and go, well, why are these guys in this business?
Why would you do that?
Yeah,
why work that hard for that little in return?
But even, just from 2011, and guys like you and me remember that 2011 was not exactly a banner year for construction. But you see what a huge amount of the price, even in 2011, was regulatory overburden. And now it's 30% more. And it's not going level and it's not going down. It's continuing to go up. And so it's amazing.
If you're in a huge metropolitan area, I think there's so many people and there's so many people coming in and so many jobs, it's not that big a deal. In our region, that's a big deal.
Yeah.
And those costs going up price people out of homes, and especially young families and those wanting to start out.
Well, Joe, you're exactly right. And there's been so much discussion lately about this idea of affordable housing and housing crisis and all this. And, the funny thing is, if you're me, I mean, not funny, haha, but funny, ironic, is that the people that are really discussing this are the people that are most responsible for the problem in the first place, which is the government. The housing affordability problem that, forgive me for saying this, stating the obvious, but our government regulations are the biggest factor in why housing is not affordable today. It's not the bricks and the sticks or the cost of the labor, it's the regulatory overburden.
I don't suppose you're going to tell me it's going to change or be any different next year as we go forward, because once that pipeline opens to the government coffers, they usually don't do much to shut it down.
Yeah. Well, people are told by the government, we're protecting you. You want us to do this. But they really don't. They really don't see. This is why this report is good, and I hope people will see this report. I hope they come to our website and look at it, and then I hope they have a robust discussion with the people that represent them in government. Yeah. And because at a certain point, people have to say, you know what, I want to be safe, I want to be protected, but guys, I'm just not sure this is adding up anymore.
Yeah. Good information as always. Thank you for that. Let's move on to our Market Watch segment now. We're going to look at some numbers and get our experts' opinions now on market conditions as we go forward here. It's a robust spring. The sellers are in the advantage and continue to be. And let's go ahead and roll our slides, and we'll get right to work on the Market Watch. We're going to start with existing home sales for Jackson County in February, March, and April. And I don't know if we can see those yet. We're working on it. We sold in that 3-month period in 2016 almost 70 houses more than we did in 2015. The days on the market came down about 9 days from 55 to 46. The median price crept up about 3.9%. 222,450 is the median price now in 2016. So, Trevor, interesting that we sold that many more homes with this tight inventory, but it does indicate that homes that are priced right are on the market and they're selling.
They are. And like I spoke about earlier, a lot of it has to do with lack of inventory. It just makes the homes, less homes available. The ones that are on the market and priced properly, they're going to sell a lot quicker. But in addition to what you had talked about, the percentage of asking price versus list price has also gone up slightly also. Yeah. So people are getting closer to what they're listing their homes for as far as in price.
Yeah, that's really encouraging for sellers because they can demand a good price and can rest kind of assured that they're going to get that, they're going to see that.
Within reason, yes.
Yeah, within reason. And there are always the fluctuations back and forth, but they're kind of riding a little bit of a wave right now. I think we're still working on that. Slides up 3.9% in the median price. Brad, for new homes, what about is that percentage last year to this year?
Yeah, well, new price year over year. I think last year we saw, let's see, 5 solds. Yeah, that's existing. Yeah. I can tell you what I expect you're going to see this year on new homes. By the time you got all your numbers crunched, I think you're going to see over 15% year over year increase in prices. We've just got too many drivers, they're coming home to roost. In other words, prices are not going up, and they will not go up because builders can sell them for more. That's not what's going to drive it. What's going to drive it is number one, again, the regulatory overburden, regulatory practices are continuing to escalate, and they're dragging everything else along with it. Number two, we're still having an awful hard time getting subcontractors, so we're having to pay a little bit more to competition, right? There's only so many framers. You want your framer on the job, you're going to have to pay him a little more money to make sure that he shows up and does that. Cost of materials is going up a little bit. And financing, this is one thing that builders deal with every day, and developers, and a lot of people don't think about it, but they have to borrow all the money that they build with.
Right.
So when interest rates go up, it increases their cost of maintaining their construction loan during the course of construction. Insurance is going up. Bonds are going up. So all the expenses that builders have to pay during the construction process are all going up, and all these drivers are dragging the cost of construction right along with them. So it wouldn't surprise me at all if you saw year over year, by the time we get to the end of 2016, to be in the 15% range.
Yep, we're going to see those stats coming up. The one thing that is a saving grace for folks in the midst of a tight market and rising prices is great interest rates continue.
They're staying good, and I mean, I think it's China, it's a bunch of places right now where the overall economy isn't great.
I always get nervous when you bring up China.
Why?
Because they could be a big driver over a big cliff someday.
No, it's true, but whether we like it or not, we're in a global economy at this point, and whatever goes on in Europe, there's we know, going back to the government thing, there's a whole lot of countries around the world, especially in Europe, that are to the point right now where they're paying so much just to keep their pensions afloat and keep, everything. And, the people worked for those, so I'm not trying to, say anything bad, but the reality is that we need to bring some good jobs back here, and the economies are just kind of weak right now. So I don't see rates going up. Which is good news for the buyers. So at least there is a bright spot. Oil hopefully will stay not too bad, and a few of those things we got some bright spots.
Yeah, every time I fill up, I'm happy for the current oil prices, because I remember how bad they were and how bad we were gouged not long ago. Let's go back to our slides. Those were existing home sales you saw. The snapshot for February, March, and April last year to this year. New construction. This is one up Brad's way. About the same number of homes sold, a few less days on the market. The median actually down a little bit, but I think we're going to see that change.
Yeah, well, it's banding. So, not every home that sells is. Yeah. So the stuff that's on the cheap end, which is, we actually have kind of a targeted area there. We've got builders that are out there building 250 to 270 stuff as fast as they can. Right. Brock Scott, Homes by Brock, in the last year and a half, he has not been able to complete a home before somebody has bought it from him. He's out there, he's still putting siding on the house, and somebody drives up and says, "How much?"
Hey, could you hurry up? I'd like to move in.
Yeah. So on the affordable end, and that's why you're seeing a little bit of a dip. The reality is, kind of going back to what Trevor was talking about as far as days on market. Days on market has gone way down. Inventory is very small. And at the same time, we also have some custom stuff out there. Sam Sarich of Sam Sarich Homes up in Innsbruck Ridge, he's got some stuff in the $1 million+ range, and he's got but it takes longer. It takes longer to build a $1 or $2 million home than it does to build a $250,000 or $300,000 home. But again, I will stand by my earlier prediction that year over year for similar properties, you're going to see between 2015 and 2016 a year-over-year increase of probably somewhere in the neighborhood of 15%. So once again, what this means is if you're on the fence, get off the fence.
Now is
go
the
see
time.
Go see a realtor. Find a piece of property you like. Find a home that you like. These are the good old days right now. Get out there and buy that house right now before it gets any more expensive.
Trevor, I know that we're running into clients and meeting people that are not finding the house that really clicks for them on the existing market, and they're going to project. They're looking for lots, and they're going to design and go through the build process because they're going to get what they want in the end. It's custom and it's brand new.
Well, the market, I like to say the market's like an escalator, and it's continually going up. And if you're just going to wait on the ground floor and wait for that perfect home to pop up, that's a mistake. I think that you need to buy something, even if it's not exactly what you want, not your dream home, so that you have an asset that's going to appreciate and kind of go up with the market. So that a couple years down the road, when you are ready to get that dream house or to move up, you've only got a couple steps to go versus starting from the ground floor.
Yeah, good point. You're already on your way. Let's go back to our slides now. Rural property sales for Jackson County. Up a little bit. Boy, there's demand for rural properties out there right now, and about as soon as they come on, they are getting snapped up.
There is. We've had some clients who have cattle. They're looking for something with 15 acres or more, and they're looking all the way from Grants Pass to Ashland, from Eagle Point to Applegate Valley. And anything that's 15 acres or above, it's just, there's no inventory. So,
wow.
It's funny. And then, of course, you've got all the land that has irrigation rights. Of course, everyone knows that people that want to grow marijuana are kind of snatching those up.
Yeah, a lot of demand. Sales are up from last year to this year, under 5 acres, 5 to 10 acres down a little bit, 10 acres and above up a little bit. But I think a lot of those properties, they come on, they aren't lasting very long on the market, and that's, for rural properties, that says a lot. They can take a while to find the right buyer and the right match for that property, but they're going pretty fast, and they're going to continue to, they escalate in price, and the demand is going to stay very strong.
I think so. And then also, in addition, you have a lot of people, as always, coming here from California, getting away from the big city, and what they want ideally is rural properties.
Yeah.
And that's another aspect that's driving these prices up and the days on market down.
Yeah, good point. We're gonna have a lot of new neighbors in the next few years move in all over the valley next to us. Jackson County, February, March, and April, closed transactions, normal sales as they should. Not when we started this show 7 years ago, but normal sales are continuing to dominate the market. Short sale here and there, and we are continuing to move some of that bank-owned property, the REOs. Those still continue to just kind of trickle onto the market in not any kind of organized fashion, it seems. When they come, there's some deals to be had there.
Yeah, I think Guy would be a good one to answer, but I think I'm not really familiar with the process in which a bank repossesses a property, but my understanding is that it can take several years before they actually repossess it. And then once they do repossess it, they have to hold on to it for 6 months before they can put it on the market. And so I think that's kind of slowed the trickle of the REO sales onto the market.
They're still out there. They can be had. They can be found.
And he knows what he's talking about.
Yep.
So that was exactly right for a guy that didn't know. So.
And inventory of housing. Last year for April, in 2015, we had 1,063 listings in Jackson County. We're down 16%. And again, this just reiterates the lack of inventory for the market right now, for the normal market levels. And did you have the breakdown of the price bands and inventory availability? It remains well under 6 months across the board for most of those.
So for Jackson County, in the price band of 150,000 below, there's a 1 month supply. And month supply basically means that if realtors stopped putting homes on the market in that price band today, it would take 1 month before the ones that are currently on the market would be sold. So in the price band of 150 to 250, there's 0.59 month supply.
Really tight there.
250 to 350, there's a 0.98 month supply. And then finally we get a little bump when you go to 350 to 500,000, it's 1.9 months supply. And then 500 to 750,000 is 2.3 months supply. And 750 to a million is 5.5 months supply.
Wow. So 6 month supply is pretty much what we see as kind of an even market as far as supply and demand goes.
Correct, yes. Yep.
And when we have a point before we say those numbers for the 250 range, 350 range, that's less than a month supply. That is a very tight market, yeah. And a lot of multiple offers and a lot of competition, and buyers are having to really come strong when they find a property that they like. They need to come with everything they got.
Absolutely, and I think Guy can tell you that to make an offer stronger, instead of just going with a kind of a weaker pre-qualification letter, if you meet with him and go a little deeper and get an actual pre-approval letter, that's going to make your offer stronger. And in a market like this, I think that's increasingly important.
Boy, no seller wants to take a chance on an offer when you've got something that's solid sitting there to choose from as well. I mean, they're going to pick the strongest, most attractive offer.
Who can close the deal.
Yeah, who can get her done and see it through. Also on our slides, Josephine County. They've sold a few more up there last year to this year for the 3 month period. Again, their days on the market are down as well, almost 20 days. And the median price is up 9.4% from 2015. So even up there, they're seeing the effects of this market. And in Josephine County, new construction, 7 more up there. Rural properties, 122 sold. They continue to have a lot of activity up there and demand for those rural properties. And 7 new constructions up there, Brad. So they're kind of keeping pace for their size compared to our size in Jackson County. And that's just, a 3 month snapshot right there.
Well, we've got a little over 200,000 people in Jackson County. and Josephine County, I think they got about 45,000, something like that. And so we've got 4 times the population they do. And then on the commercial side, we've got a lot more commercial activity than they do. But Josephine County, you've got an awful lot of territory up there that's just timber, just open land. So it's a very different market up there.
Yeah, and where are they building new homes up there? Do you have any idea if you're Southern Oregon?
Well, as you know, they had an awful lot of land that got, just like we did, we had an awful lot of land that got developed, just before the Great Recession hit. And a lot of that land up there did not get picked up by investors like it did down here in our market. So they're still building on some of that land, which, by the way, is a really, really good bargain. So for people If you've got, if you've got the right builder and the right piece of property up there in Grants Pass, you could wind up being pretty darn happy with what you bought for your money up there.
Yep, and a little less activity, but per capita.
If you're a retired person and if you're kind of looking for something that's a little less busy, that just might be right what you're looking for.
And we can guarantee that you won't pay much in property taxes.
That's right.
In Josephine County.
That's right. Well,
they are adamant about that.
That's how they roll up there.
That's how they roll up
Wild
there.
West.
It's not going to change. We've got just a couple of minutes left, and we're going to plug the tour of homes before we're done, Brad. But any other thoughts or observations on our market right now, Trevor, what we're headed for into the summer months ahead?
Well, the spring months are typically the busiest. Usually in the summertime, we'll have a little bit of a slowdown, but I don't expect it to be that much of a slowdown. I think things are going to stay strong. Overall, nationwide, prices this year are expected to go up 3.7%. I think here in Oregon, their projections are looking between 5 and 7%. So, and that's Oregon overall, not just Jackson County.
Right.
So I think things are going to continue to be strong and still go up in price.
Yeah, and I could see us continuing with a kind of a hot market through the summer because of the pent-up demand with buyers and the lack of inventory to satisfy that demand so far. I think they're going to be kind of waiting their time and biding their time till their right place shows up.
You're absolutely right. There is this backlog of buyers. In today's technology, everybody's online looking at the inventory. They know what's out there, and as soon as something hits the market that fits what they're looking for, they're right on it.
Yeah, and it's really important to get them to the property, see the property, and if it's the one, get the offer written because there are a bunch of other buyers are doing the same thing. And
absolutely,
when those new properties, well priced, come onto the market in good shape, they are raring to go, so to speak, and people are in and snapping them up. You're going to keep writing loans all summer, I know, because folks are going to keep working on this process, and looks to be a pretty good summer ahead as far as just having great rates still.
I don't think we're going to slow down at all. I've been asked a bunch over the last 2 weeks about, people keep hearing that the market's going to crash, and should they wait until the end of the year? And I just don't see the same problems that we had when we had the last recession. You know, they're not writing poor loans anymore.
Nope.
They're making sure people are qualified. And I think a lot of the people, especially moving into the valley, that are the retirees from California, they don't have it in them to wait through another recession. So even if they don't get the top dollar, they're going to sell their house and they're going to move and they're going to get it done because they've been waiting for 8 or 9 years now to do it. So I think the market's going to stay strong.
Yep, and that just as our equity here locally has come back to our homeowners, down there they've got the equity back to be able to cash and make the move, and that's what a lot of them would like to do, and we'd like to help them. Right, Trevor? Well, give us a call.
Absolutely.
We'll hook you up with a great
We're
property
here to
up here in Southern Oregon.
Here to serve.
That's what our folks at John L. Scott are here for. Brad, we got the tour of homes coming up. You've had a fantastic. The golf tournament is.
Golf tournament's going to be June 17th.
June 17th,
Wonderful
right.
golf tournament benefits Redemption Ridge. Rescues and rehabilitates young women, victims of sex trafficking. So June 17th coming up. Tour of Homes, the largest new home marketing event in Southern Oregon. Coming up 16, 17, 18, 23, 24, 25.
We got a slide for you for that as well.
Wonderful event. People love it. Last year, the realtors that were tending these homes had to call the main office and ask for more realtors. They had so many people coming through. And
that's how I got pressed into duty on one of the weekends.
Yeah, and we were sure glad to have you, Joe. I'll tell you, we needed you, but we really do have a tremendous opportunity for people. You know, just like Trevor and Guy have been saying. And one thing that you and I were visiting about last week is, you know, with 40 million people in California and 4 million people in Oregon, they have more people retiring every year in California than we have people, and they're going somewhere. They're going, you know, most of these people on fixed incomes are not going to stay in California. They're certainly not going to stay in Southern California. And we know that most of those people are coming to Oregon, and we know that a lot of those people are going to wind up right here in Southern Oregon. And it's just creating this amazing opportunity for realtors, for financiers, and for builders.
Yeah, it's going to continue as well. And you're going to see some of those great homes on the Tour of Homes. That's in September the 16th through the 18th and 23rd through the 25th. Trevor, great job tonight. Thank you, buddy.
Thank you.
Your debut on the TV end of things. Good work.
My wife made sure that I didn't say too many times.
She's
I did okay.
It's why it's good to have a teammate, you know. It lightens the load for both. Brad, Great work as always,
Yeah,
Guy.
thanks, Joe.
Keep pounding out the loans, buddy.
Ready.
We'll keep selling the houses and try to keep everybody busy.
Sounds good.
Thank you guys for a great market watch. Stay tuned. We've got more coming in our program tonight. Pete Belcastro is going to be in, and we're going to learn about energy efficient homes. Stay tuned.
This is where they kick us out.
You're kind of like, look where you're going to. Hello and welcome back to the Real Estate Show. I'm Pete Belcastro in segment 2 tonight. Well, you know, one of the things you've heard words, but you really don't know what they mean. I'm going to use the 2 words earth advantage. And when you hear that, a lot of us don't know really much what that means. It sounds pretty cool. We're going to learn about it tonight. That's all we can talk about it. Anyway, John Spillman is here from Earth Advantage. And it's a nonprofit from the Portland area, and you've been working in this whole world of energy efficiency in the whole world. So that's kind of a neat area that we don't talk much about, it seems like.
Yeah, it's on some people's radars, but there's many people who, when they hear the term Earth Advantage, it's still new to them.
Yeah.
And we've been around since 2006 as a nonprofit organization, certifying homes and helping builders to build more sustainably, energy-efficient homes. So
that sounds that sounds really good because we need it probably. Eric Poole is here also. Eric is a real estate broker in Ashland of Full Circle Real Estate and has been on our show before. We did a show in the Southern Oregon Land Conservancy that you were on. And by the way, congratulations
I know. That's
that
exciting,
the Oregon Lottery through the Oregon Watershed Enhancement Council, you got the $1.4 million grant.
Very exciting. Yeah, there's a huge step in that process of raising money for that piece of land.
And that's saving a
very
big
exciting.
ranch up in the Rogue River area, 350 acres.
Yeah.
That's really cool. That's wonderful.
Yeah.
Anyway, congratulations.
Appreciate that.
So how are you involved with Earth Advantage or this type of, I don't like to use the term green building because it has a certain name, but how did you get involved with this or what is your role with all that?
That's a good question. I had a client actually, a number of clients in the past, and one of them specifically, probably in about 2009, I would imagine, wanted to build a house in Ashland. We looked at a bunch of houses and got to the point where he said, hey, I just want to build a house, because he was looking at houses to buy and remodel, but remodel in a green way. And so when they realized that that was going to be costly, he realized that he could build new. And at that time, we were working with Suncrest Home and Charlie Hamilton. And Charlie at that time wasn't doing Earth Advantage, but when we started pushing him a little bit or just talking to him about doing it in a more green or more efficient way, he went and started talking to Earth Advantage, and next thing you know, literally 100% of his homes are now Earth Advantage. All new homes with Charlie Hamilton and Suncrest Homes are Earth Advantage homes.
Earth Advantage homes that are are
Certified
out
Earth
there.
Advantage, yep.
So that's that's a great way to use energy better, use all the kinds of things that we talk about. outside of probably building, but
Yeah.
building is where it probably needs to be done the most.
Well, that, and also I think it's important to, you know, the in that situation, a client drove that decision, and ultimately they wanted that higher efficiency home for themselves when they were finished building. And it's been fun to, you know, work with John over the last few years and realize that you know, as we were talking about, there's a momentum that seems to be in our valley where people are realizing the importance of energy efficiency, and, you know, resale value is quite great for you know, for having homes with Earth Advantage components. Or,
I mean, if a person's going to build a new home, and it doesn't matter really what the price range is, why in the world would you not want to build a home to an Earth Advantage standard? That's my question. Does that make sense?
It does to me.
Yeah, out of the thing. Now, a lot of Eric, for old timers like ourselves, I remember a program. I think in Ashland it was called Super Good Sense.
Good Sense, exactly. Yeah.
And that's gone now, isn't it? I mean, that's not
Well,
around
you can speak
anymore,
to that
John.
a little more.
I believe the program is still
It's-
in existence in certain places. It's largely not
It's
in our
pretty much
market.
gone.
Yeah.
But Earth Advantage, actually, you said started with Portland General Electric back about 25 years ago,
Yeah.
and it became statewide in 2006.
Yeah, in 2006, it was spun out as a nonprofit, separate entity, separate from Portland General Electric, and we offered it statewide, and when we're offering it, we continue to this day to offer it statewide as well as in Southwest Washington.
All right. Now, when am I going to? When would I want to talk to you? I mean, what would I mean, if I have a remodel, if I have a house, I want to maybe remodel it, which is not any kind of standard. There's a few of those probably still out there, I would imagine. So when would I want to come and actually talk to you about what programs and how I could use your service?
Yeah, for the most part, or I say predominantly down here, it's for new construction. That builders will participate with the Earth Advantage program and work with a verifier who will help them learn about the program, learn about the new materials, the new techniques, and help them implement all of those standard and meet the standard to ultimately achieve the certification for the home. Now we have another set of standards that we've created for remodels as well. So that is a possibility for a contractor who is interested in remodeling a home with sustainable building practices.
So you can remodel, you can do the things. Well, John has also brought a slideshow with us tonight, and we've got it here. So if we can go to the slideshow, and we'll let John kind of explain some of the things about Earth Advantage here, and because you know, again, most of us, you hear the words, but you really don't know what it means. And do you know somebody, or can you take advantage of some of the programs? I have done this. I've told you guys I've done some of these programs myself. So anyway, all right, John. So show us what you got here, and we can head off there.
Yeah, well, this slide is really just showing an overview of Earth Advantage as the organization, and what we've been talking about up until this point is our residential services with the certifications for new and remodel homes. We also offer a commercial certification, which with largely the same goals of energy efficiency, resource efficiency. The Camelot Theater in Talent is an example of a building that was built with our commercial certification.
I did not know that.
Yeah.
I go there all the time. I didn't know that.
They were one of our pilot projects, and we continue to offer that, as well as our education department, which is where I'm working predominantly. So we're teaching not only the builders how to build sustainably to energy efficient standards, we're also training the real estate realtors, appraisers. We work a lot with appraisers so that they can assign value and make value adjustments and use the standard to back those adjustments up at the time of sale. We work with code officials. We
all right. Go ahead.
And we're also in research and consulting.
Okay.
So we've been talking a little bit, we started talking about our Earth Advantage home certification, and it is organized around 5 categories. So we talk a lot, it's often associated with energy efficiency, but we're also focused in on a healthy building, so the material selection and making sure that there's healthy indoor air for the
You don't want Chinese-made
drywall.
Yeah,
exactly.
I would want that in my home. Okay.
Yeah. So paying close attention to what goes into the home.
The materials.
Yeah, and then how the home impacts the land. Not only the lot that it sits upon, but the surrounding area. So looking at how stormwater is managed, for example, how erosion's being taken care of during construction. And then material selection is a big part of it to help, once again, ensure that healthy indoor air, as well as using renewable material, rapidly renewable materials, so that we're being responsible with our material choices.
The materials, I would think, would be a big deal in a new construction, obviously.
Sure.
And I've read, over the years where certain wood is grown certain ways, or certain things. Is this the kind of materials that you want to put into these buildings generally, or does that matter? I mean, I'm curious at that.
It matters in the big picture, so that we're trying to help the homeowner conserve resources for themselves, and lowering their utility bills and lowering their impact on land, but we're also concerned with the big picture. So we have standards to try to encourage people to select things that are rapidly renewable. For example, for flooring, a builder can earn points for putting in bamboo flooring because it's a rapidly renewable resource, as well as hardwood floors.
So when I walk into places, Eric, and we see bamboo floors or some of these kinds of things, that's kind of almost a giveaway, isn't it? That this might be an Earth Advantage home, something like that.
It could be, yeah. But it's kind of interesting. From what I understand, is there's a checklist, and if you hit X number of points on the checklist, and you might get, say, 5 points for bamboo flooring, or and if you got drip irrigation, you're going to get some points. And the goal is to meet a certain level, and once you meet that level, you become certified Earth Advantage. And then there's different levels of Earth Advantage certification as well. And the more points you get, the more efficient it is.
The more efficiency, the more return you get on your investment.
Sure.
Kind of thing.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right. Continue on with the slides. Let's speed you up here, but we know we got to keep going. We're going to get through out of this. Okay.
Yeah. So we're of course focused on water conservation. It's becoming more and more of an issue.
Water's a big issue, isn't it? Oh my goodness, we can talk about that for hours. Yes. Okay.
We absolutely could. And we see here an example of a platinum certificate. So that's we have silver, gold, and platinum. So
I would want to put that on my house if I got one of those.
There you go. Yeah.
I mean, I really would. Anyway, okay, all right, continue on.
Yeah, so the certification process generally begins with a builder working with a verifier, and they consult at the early planning stages of a project. They look at the plans, and the verifier will help the builder understand the program and understand what they need to do differently in order to achieve success. And then the verifier comes out twice, sometimes even 3 times, to the site itself. They'll inspect during construction, look behind the walls before they're covered, make sure all the insulation levels are up to snuff, and they'll do some testing. And then they'll test again at the final inspection after the home's complete. And ultimately, the certification is issued once that whole process takes place. And so one of the main focuses that people oftentimes will talk about and think about when we think of certified homes is the energy efficiency and the savings. And that is most definitely.
That's the big deal.
That's one of the
energy efficiency, savings.
Absolutely, and that's one of the big picture goals, to save energy for all of us and also for the consumer living in the home. But one of the things that oftentimes isn't talked about as much is all the other amazing benefits that the homeowner receives, and that's higher levels of comfort, a healthier indoor air quality, and in many cases, a more durable building. So ultimately, you put that all together, you have a higher quality product.
It sounds, Eric, it's a better investment. If you're going to invest money and your hard-earned money into something, I would think today you would want. The incentives are there. You would want to have the best kind of thing you can get. I would think,
and especially that there's homes in the valley that are under $250,000 that you can get an Earth Advantage certification for. And to me, it's certainly energy or efficient. Utility costs are not going down. They're just going to get more expensive. So I think this product or this certification, Earth Advantage, is just going to get more popular because it just makes sense. It's not that much more expensive to get. It reduces utility bills. It's great for resale, and it gives you a healthier environment to live in.
So when you're in terms of resale, when you go to sell an Earth Advantage home, you're actually have an advantage. You're saying that is actually coming to fruition, that the price is going to be higher.
Yeah, you can add a premium.
Ask for more money for that.
Yeah, you can. Yeah, again, and again, you're going to get in the long run, you're getting less utility bills, but also, as John said, there's appraisers locally are now getting more educated on realizing those adjustments that need to happen for Earth Advantage.
Well, that's a big thing to educate appraisers, because if you only see one Earth Advantage home every so often, you're not going to. It doesn't mean anything to you, does it?
Exactly.
To an appraiser. Let's go back to the slides there. We got to keep rolling along here. Okay.
This is a statistic from McGraw-Hill Construction Survey, and it shows that it's an extremely high customer satisfaction rate. People that live in these homes have realize
love
that
them.
they love the comfort and they love the utility, the low utility bills, of course.
All right.
And market demand is growing year after year. This is a survey from National Association of Home Builders.
9 out of 10 home buyers would buy an energy efficient home. Okay.
Instead of, they're willing to pay up to 3% premium for an energy efficient home. So even if it's just energy efficiency, there's market demand. But once you couple that with the other benefits and people really realize that they're going to have a higher quality experience living in the home, then it really does become a no-brainer.
That's a good selling point too, isn't that? I mean, it makes a whole lot of sense. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. So.
Oops, where that happened?
Yeah.
I don't know what happened. I didn't touch that. We have to come back to that in a second. Let's come back here. Okay. I'll try to work on that for a second. Go ahead.
Yeah. Well, what we were just about to look at, well, I guess we'll wait till you pull it up, is I was going to talk to everybody about the energy performance score.
Okay, I got it back. Okay, we can try it again.
So this is a screenshot of the energy performance score, which is available for builders that are participating in Energy Trust of Oregon's programs. And it essentially is a miles per gallon rating for the home.
It looks like it, yeah.
Yeah, and because we've had that on the sticker available when we've been shopping for cars for decades, but largely unknown when we're buying a home.
It's an energy performance score for a house.
For a house. And
so a new construction, I could come up here and see what my energy costs are going to be, et cetera, like I would have buying a new car, miles per gallon.
Exactly.
That's pretty cool, actually. I like that.
Yeah.
It makes sense.
It shows you estimated monthly energy cost as well as an energy score for how much energy you'll use in 1 year. So this is available through Energy Trust of Oregon's programs. And one of the things that an Earth Advantage home will also be receiving, because all the Earth Advantage homes located in Energy Trust territory will be participating in these programs.
Wow.
And there's also builders in the area who participate with Energy Trust of Oregon's programs and do EPS only home, and they'll have an EPS home in that case.
Yeah, energy performance score. That's pretty interesting. I've never heard of that, but that makes some sense there. Okay, what else you got? Any education stuff here?
Yeah. So I've pulled up a screenshot of our education calendar, and just to talk about some of the courses that we offer, the upcoming courses on the next slide. I've pulled out a few relevant to the area. We have upcoming a green home site visit available May 19th, and we're going to be meeting at a home in the Summerfield subdivision, one of the Mahar homes that is certifying Earth Advantage. And we'll tour through that home and talk about and look at the various features that are different from your standard code-built home.
Yeah.
And then we're offering a building science course for home inspectors, because that is another group that we're starting to work with to teach them about what goes into a high-performance home. So when they're assessing homes that are being purchased, they can actually look for opportunities for the buyer, and then try to help guide them towards Energy Trust of Oregon's program.
Yeah, I like that the term high performance home.
Sounds great, doesn't it?
It's kind of a neat term, isn't it, of what that actually means? Because it actually is that.
It's highly tuned like a sports car.
When you do this, I mean, you hear all these things. The apps that you can go into your homes, and are these part of that? I mean, or is that a separate world apart from what we're talking about here?
But you don't mind. I mean, we just closed on a house. We're representing, I should say, Full Circle helps represent Tailored Elements Construction, and they do new construction in the valley. Great contractor. They just are building 3 homes on Hershey Street, and one of the things that came part of that Earth Advantage program, I'm assuming, is like a Nest, thermostat in the house, which can be an app on your phone, and you can adjust, remotely and that sort of thing. So part of that is, a lot of those apps are, associated with energy efficiency, and you just might end up with it on your phone because of,
And are the, say, appliances? So appliances today that are going into these homes, again, with all the technologies out there, they have to all rate certain kinds of energy uses and things like that. You think with all that stuff, it would probably drive the cost up, but it really doesn't. I mean, it doesn't really. You don't need to.
A lot of appliances are being certified through the Energy Star program.
Okay.
And the efficiencies are rising all the time in the appliances, as well as the furnaces and the hot water tanks. And it's getting to the point where the efficiencies of scale are coming into play, and those highly efficient devices are not top shelf anymore. They're
and they filter down to the
Exactly,
lower level.
yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
I remember high efficiency washer and dryers. Remember those? How big that was, and
Right.
it was. They were so much, and now they've filtered down
Yeah.
to a lower price, and they're more efficient as they
Yeah.
go along there.
Yeah.
And
Well,
that's-
the same thing here.
And that's happening with the building materials too. A lot of the materials that go into these homes 5 years ago or 5 or 10 years ago used to be quite a bit more expensive, but now they're being made on a large scale, and that's brought down the price of participating in these programs and ultimately building a high performance home.
Because you're not just selling one now; you're selling whole bunches of
Yeah,
these
right.
things.
Or
where we
solar's
used
a
to
good
do that.
example too of that. You know,
Yeah.
whereas the payback period for solar used to be what 10 or 12 or 13
Oh, more like
years.
25 years.
Yeah, now it's like 7 or
It's
5.
come down that,
Yeah,
that far
yeah.
because the prices
Yeah.
have come down of the
Yeah.
installations and things.
It's a demand
Do you
thing.
see much of that? I mean, you work with clients all the time. I mean, like I do. Do you see that a lot? Do you see the demand that we're talking about
Sure.
here around a lot?
Yeah, and I think part of it is maybe area driven somewhat. I think that, I think Ashland and Talent, maybe because of like the Suncrest homes and the tailored elements that are realizing the importance of Earth Advantage there's a number of homes, new homes that are just, being created or being built that have that. And so I think part of it feels like, now compared to 5 years ago, there's just more of a general, education.
The biggest thing seems to be, and tell me if I'm wrong here, that you have to get builders who believe in the program, that they want that an Earth Advantage home makes sense for all of their clients. I mean, is that kind of the hardest thing, or realtors, I guess, or real estate brokers to show them or to know about them also?
Yeah, and there are many people who started participating in the program early on because they personally believed in building sustainably.
Okay.
But more and more, as the market demand is growing, there's a lot of people that are doing it because they're saying this is a smart business decision. There's the demand is out there, and I'm able to have an edge in a market. That's one of the things Suncrest Homes did very successfully during the downturn, is they felt that the Earth Advantage certification really helped them.
So there was enough demand during that downturn to keep them going.
Right,
and
it's
that
at
makes
the-
a lot of sense.
it's- yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that's good for them.
Yeah.
Do you guys see? Do you see the builders coming around? I mean, you say big builders are doing it. There's more Mahar, some of the names that we toss out there. That's good to hear that they're doing that. I mean, I'm that's probably makes a whole lot of sense there.
I think part of it too has to be, public driven too. So I think if there's not a demand in the general public for it, then some builders are going to be less likely to say, "Hey, I'm going to go out and go this extra mile to do this." I think part of it is, of course, if builders are, if you have a bunch of homes around you that are the new homes that are Earth Advantage, then people are going to start being educated about it. Part of it's just an education piece.
Can I go on to the MLS or to Zillow, which populates out of truly off the MLS? Can I find easily, if I'm a consumer searching for homes, to see an Earth Advantage on them, on a home that is certified under you right now?
Yeah, so there's now a field in MLS when we're inputting a home, new construction, or even a home
even a
for
regular
resale.
home,
Yeah, that there is now either LEED certified or Earth Advantage. So you can click on that as a realtor inputting that information, and then the general public can search that way if they want to.
So they can find that.
It's like irrigation.
It's easy to find. You can,
Yeah.
So it's easier to find there.
Yeah,
Okay.
but that's part of that's helping the general public realize that hey, that's an option for a house, and certain houses are going to have it, and that can be an important thing for a lot of people.
Yeah, we're almost out of time, but I want to just ask you, John, about the Energy Trust of Oregon, because I know people could take advantage of a lot of programs that they have there. You have to be in the Pacific Power, I understand, not in the city of Ashland utility, but in Pacific Power's utility, which is Jackson and Josephine County, obviously.
Right.
Those are wonderful programs to help buildings and homes and everything save a lot of money and save on money, save you money.
Absolutely, yes. They have programs for both new homes with Energy Performance Corp, as well as for the existing homes. So there's a whole number of programs and incentives available for improving existing homes, and working through their network of trade ally contractors as well. As another great benefit of working with Energy Trust of Oregon is that they have contractors who are trained specifically in energy efficiency and understand the Energy Trust programs very well.
Yeah.
So you can find those types of contractors as well as new home builders that participate in Energy Performance Score on their website. They have a find a contractor section on their website, and they also have a find a real estate professional on their website. In fact, that's
Is
what we're looking at right there.
The one you were going to do, yeah.
They queued it up right there. So that's an example of a find the real estate professional. There's another section if you click on the residential tab, it will take you to find a contractor.
All right.
And then this is a contact information for Fred Gann at Southern Oregon Green Rating Services. He is the local verifier for Earth Advantage. So any builders who are watching and are interested in finding out more about Earth Advantage certification, this is your go-to person.
Well, I've been working on my house, remodeling it and stuff, and it's funny. We've put in fancy toilets and low flow shower heads,
windows or whatever.
The materials part of it, but you talk about materials. There's nothing kind of out there maybe that tells me or guides me of what materials I should buy that would have these kind of certification qualifications for it.
Right.
Just even if you're only doing one room of your house or something like that, or you're putting a new floor in or whatever, what might those kinds of things be?
Yeah, there are some online resources of entities that will rate different types of materials. And then there's also, similar to Earth Advantage certification, there's certification for products. The wood that you were mentioning earlier, the wood certification, FSC certified wood, has been grown and sustainably harvested. So that's one of the things that we encourage builders to build into their products.
Into more of those.
Into their houses,
and think about the appliances and how those have changed. And if you're changing now, I've been noticing just in going to looking at showing clients' homes, there's been a lot of new kinds of air conditioning systems, heat pumps that are out there that look so different than mine in my house now.
Yeah.
And again, everything is more efficient, more energy, everything to reduce those bills.
Yeah, and they're also delivering higher levels of comfort. So they're quieter, and they have so many benefits.
Healthier.
The mini split heat pumps that
So it's living in, when you saw an Earth Advantage home, I've learned this tonight from you, is that it's living better in your home.
Yeah.
It makes your experience in your own home better.
Yeah, and it costs less to do so.
And it costs less to do that. In many cases, as you say, zero output from zero in your utilities.
If you build to the zero energy standard,
to a certain standard.
Yeah, that's one of the higher levels of certification that is now available to build a zero energy home, where you put solar on top of the home and you build a super efficient shell below with super efficient equipment inside, and you can end up with zero energy bills at the end of the year when you total out what you bought and what you produced.
Look at the options, Eric, consumers have today. It's amazing, isn't it? When you think about it.
Yeah.
It's exciting.
It makes kind of building a new home kind of cool. And it doesn't matter, as you're saying, boys, it doesn't really matter if it's $250 or $500, that there is, whatever the price range, you can do an Earth Advantage home in really any price category.
Yeah, it's been designed to be available to all levels.
All right. How can someone get a hold of you quickly, Eric? I mean, the Earth Advantage, how can they find you?
Well, Earth Advantage website.
Okay.
EarthAdvantage.org.
Yes. And that'll do it.
Yeah.
We're out of time. Eric Poole, nice to visit with you.
Good to see you again.
Next time you come, I want you to bring some pictures of homes that have done this, and I'd love to see what people have done with some of these efficiencies and do that.
Absolutely.
That'll do it for the Real Estate Show for May. Thanks to our student crew here at SU for their support of tonight's program. We couldn't do it without them. Until we see you next month, for Pete Belcastro and Joe Brett, have a great month, everybody, and God bless you all.